whoop. Happy New Year. How was your holiday? I hope everyone had a happy holiday. And even if you did not, that's okay. I was set to have a bleak one myself. It was going to be the loneliest holiday for me yet, but it turned out better than I thought. I adopted 2 kittens the week before Christmas. So it was me and the kittens, and a coworker invited me to dinner. Otherwise, it would have been just me, but it also would have been just me and the kittens. So it wouldn't have been as bad as I thought. But here we are. I'm back. My last episode was November 6th. I took a break for the holiday and to figure some things out. Well, I got feedback on the podcast from a coworker. They're too short. That's great. And they're relatable. Someone asked, what YouTuber is this? And coincidentally, as I update you all on what's going on, I'm not on YouTube, but I am launching my YouTube channel this year. And for that very reason, it's higher accessibility. Give me a whoop whoop, everybody, if you're excited. I'm also publishing my first book this year, too. So, yeah, baby. So, do bear with me. I think that I'm going to go to bi-weekly for my podcast, but the content will be longer, and I am excited. I have always wanted to do longer form content, and I'm glad to hear people want more and that it is relatable. I am officially on board for coaching for my first book. It's going to be 6 months, so I should have everything done by the summertime to move into the publishing stage for the book. And I'll be working on my routine with AI and getting the YouTube channel set up to launch, where the podcast will be there as well. So do bear with me as I get all of that organized and figure out how recovery works. These are all very strenuous assignments and projects, both writing and doing the podcast. So I'm trying to figure out how recovery works and how to recover both after working Starbucks and being mentally exhausted, and both writing and recording the podcast and writing the book. Sometimes those will be crying sessions, and so I need to watch the recovery. So as things become more consistent, that's what's going on. I want you guys to be updated. All right? So I'm elated. I left them wanting more, that it wasn't long enough, and I was not expecting that. But give the people what they want. And if I'm going to make them longer, I can really let the depth flow. So, now, the bi-weekly is because I've learned weekly isn't something I can keep up with on the regular. And with everything coming this year, bi-weekly just gives me more freedom. Now, I'm looking at this, and the relationship stuff resonated most. I thought folks would hate that, but damn, flirtatious blew up a little bit there. Holy cow. And that is at the core of my being, so that's a good thing. Romance is something I want to talk about a lot, so that's good. It's really good. So without ado, we're going to get back into this thing. All right, ladies and gents, let's get this thing rocking. So, what do I look for romantically? Quality time. Quality time has to be number one for me. Quality over quantity. I would want to spend more or much time with you, but you can always make up for in quantity with quality. There's a song called Quality Time by High Five. I want to spend quality time with you. Right? So It's really a catchy song, but you've got to want to spend time with me. That's the whole point. It's the easiest way to get nowhere with me, the absence of any type of quality time. Now, we don't have to spend a lot of time together necessarily to feel connected, to be connected, maybe preferential. But it just means we have to make more of the time when we do get together. We, or you and your significant other, if you don't get much time together, then you can't waste that time you do have together being trivial, because it lessens the quality. It's why I don't believe busy schedules are as big a relational issue as they're made out to be. Distance is not as big an issue as we make it out to be. I want to spend time with you. It's not creepy. It's the only way to get to know you in conversation. Remember when I said you can judge what's going on with flirting? The easiest way to do that, and the easiest way to gauge interest, quality time. If someone is flirting with you for kicks, the second you ask for quality time, they'll flake. Either they'll make the plan with you to your face, then flake via text or not show, or not respond if and when you try to confirm, or they'll conveniently forget. Am I talking to somebody? Or they'll deflect in the moment at the mention of quality time. Maybe they'll look away, maybe they'll just walk off, but you'll notice a shift that's not necessarily positive at the mention of it. Ask for quality time and ask for it with intent. An example, would you like to go on a date with me? You're free Saturday? You want to grab lunch? Or I'm going to go bowling. Would you like to go with me? Or I'm heading to the mall. Would you like to come? Etc. Whatever fits your fancy. Intent. Applying that overtone, whichever kind you might need, makes it extremely difficult for someone to hide. I need to see how you respond. You need to see how they respond. The response, the reaction will tell you all you need to know. And I think it's time I began painting my picture for you, with you. Yeah, I have to do this, or you'll never understand why I speak the way I do. All right. I nicknamed her mother the Black Widow because she looked like she had venom. The daughter I came across in band. She played clarinet a bit, then volleyball, softball, all the popular sports around the school. My brother lended me his fragrance oil side hustle. Mother ran the small business for me, but I poured my first oil for this girl. It was the fragrance Ed Hardy, if you know it. And to this day, I can't take the smell of it. I love it. It's a great fragrance. It's a great perfume, but the memory returned with the scent brings chills up my spine. I bet you have a memory or memories which return upon something specific. Traumas, the pains, the shadows. I don't remember the occasion, but I put it with a gift containing a CD I'd burned for her back in the days of burning CDs. Christ, I feel old. But I burned some songs on there, and one of the songs was Candy by Cameo. I'm an old soul. And it wasn't until much later I realized while I liked the song, and I still do, it had nothing to do with candy. And it's not a song you give to a girl in high school. I guess that's unintentional confidence. So if you listen to the song, he goes, "It tastes like candy. I can feel it when you walk. Even when you talk, it takes over me." Right? So he said it tastes like candy. There's another part where he says, "You're taking my appetite, but it's alright." So he's not talking about actual candy, which I thought he was at the time. He's saying that it tastes like candy. Later on, when I got to college, I heard somebody refer to it as when a guy eats a girl out. So he goes downstairs and he eats her out. So in the song Candy, Cam was talking about that oral sex for him tastes like candy. How I missed this, I don't know. But there you have it. Now, my brother, who I consider to be well-versed in the bedroom, I call him Wild Stallion. And I asked him about this one day. Basically, it's up for debate to personal taste, shall we say, and taste buds as to whether it tastes like candy to any one individual or not. Supposedly, there are factors that influence the taste of that sort of thing, but I don't know. But when you go and listen to the song, I think I'm going to paste a Spotify link to it, but you really need to see the video. If Spotify shows the video, watch it. If not, go on YouTube and look up the original video to YouTube, because it's to Cameo. Cameo's Candy. Because it was only when I saw the video, really watched it, and listened to the lyrics that I understood he was not talking about Skittles and Snickers, which I thought. So give it a watch, see what you think. And I hand wrote a note on one of those medium-sized yellow Lego pads. It elegantly asked if she'd allow, could I be her exclusive someone? Even then I was a writer. Signed, Confirmation Man. That was my deal back then. Confirming her a lady's interest. Receiving interest. Calling on her for a chance to court. I think I wrote my number on there too, but I don't really recall. I believe I did. Don't ever do this, gentlemen, but it's my way. Bold, courageous. Trust me. You don't need the trouble. Pretty sure she didn't respond. Now let's pause. I've learned in today's culture that, gentlemen, no response is a response. The reason why is irrelevant. Because no response, and ladies, I say this with respect, indicates she's not yet mature enough to handle and conduct that uncomfortable conversation of rejection, because it involves feelings, or she's scared how you'll respond as a male, i.e. violently, or she could be just a cruel personality to ignore you, none of which would equal a healthy relationship. Anyway, I ended up asking for her number from a bandmate. Texted her one evening. The correspondence that followed consisted of remarks like, "Of course you have a chance, and I'm just not looking for anything right now." Alternatively, between this and cryptic sweet messages, notes, and hearts in my yearbook at the end of the year, I wasn't my brother. I was a nerd who couldn't read between the lines. I believe you shouldn't have to. Everybody would just be cordial up front and forthcoming. I'm hard on myself. I punish myself for not knowing, being unable to decipher the no and take it for an answer. My father was absent, and my older brother had already gone. We're 9 years apart. 9 years and some change. I had no male role models or mentors in my life. So I referenced a lot of movies and TV shows the coming of age romance sort. Figured maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. And this is the reality of being a dorky, odd, awkward bookworm nerd they don't tell you about. Since she was responding, air quotations, positively, I took it as a sign I could keep texting her. It's on me, or I believe it to be, that I got her number from someone else. That doesn't work like it does in the movies. Ladies, I think it comes across invasive to you, yes? So, gentlemen, I encourage you to inquire and obtain any personal information from her directly. Allow her to dictate what she does not give you. Ladies, it's okay to say no. Saying yes when you mean no or are uncomfortable in the long term can get you into muddier waters. That being said, males, be gentlemen and receive what she's saying. Rejection is always out to you. It doesn't matter whether you're communicating it or receiving it. So find a way that you receive what she's saying respectfully, positive or neutral, whatever it is you have to do. Uncomfortable conversations are a part of life. Romance involves feelings, therefore can be uncomfortable. We've got to move beyond that. Okay? So senior year, prom came around. Many of the coming-of-age movies painted prom as the moment to finally get her. I'll ask her to prom. I thought, no. I'll ask her mother for permission to ask her daughter and or take her daughter to prom. The old school way. I knew not where the father was, just that he wasn't in the picture for her. So it had to be mom. Well, I didn't hear back. Her mother was the town hairstylist at the time. I cycled by her salon all the time. I was too anxious to disturb her work again, so I opted to tape a note on her car window with my contact info. She exited that very moment. Hey, I didn't want to disturb you, so I was just going to take this note here. She paused, gave me this weird look. Yeah, no, she's not interested. I got that empty feeling, that fear I would come to know well in the years to follow. I put on my best smile. Oh, okay, well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. She handed back the note, nervous. I rolled off. I didn't believe I'd done anything wrong. I'm just that socially awkward. I chalked that up as the end of it. The exchange made me so uneasy, I think I even deleted the daughter's number when I got back home. Well, the next day, I was summoned to the principal's office. Principal, assistant principal, my mother, and the school officer. Mother was there in a rage in her eyes. And if you know anything about my mother, the best way to summarize mom, besides hardworking and many, many good things, but in this context, if you want sympathy and empathy, my mother is not who you go to. I'd find out that when she described me to the daughter crafted I was stalking and harassing her, that she told me no numerous times via text, that she never signed my yearbook, that I forced all the in-person conversations and interactions on her. There was a point where her number changed. I can't recall whether I asked that bandmate again about it or whether I was forwarded to her new number and she couldn't remember what my digits were. I do recall her responding to a text, "Who is this?" So I'm fairly certain she switched numbers, switched phones, but allowed them to keep a period of time where anyone who texted her at the old number, it would be forwarded to the new number. But she didn't take into account what my number was to remember. And so she ended up texting back, "Who is this?" And when I responded, she did not respond. It came back as a positive sort of, "Oh, I changed my number." She told her mother that she wanted to change numbers because of me. Said she felt unsafe. It was technically grounds for a police report, from my understanding. But in lieu of charging me with stalking, because her word trumped mine as a bio male, that's just how it works, they elected to expel me and enroll me in this online portal to finish high school. No problem. Well, I begged to stay for fear. Because like hell, I was going to be at home alone 24/7 with my mother's rage. So an agreement was reached, a precarious one. Truth or not, if she said anything about me, I'd lose everything. I don't remember what I said to my mother that day in the car, but I do remember she snapped back, "That's not what the world's not going to like about you." And I saw it in her eyes. My own mother thought me to be a stalker. Rejection from the woman who birthed me. Mama, I'm not a stalker. But it was in her eyes. A belief that yet still remains in her to this day. And a belief I didn't put there. It's why I don't talk romance with Mom. And it's why you'll often see me stay to myself, particularly if I'm around a lot of women. I don't say too much, especially to ladies. It's not to be standoffish, although it's often interpreted that way. I'm just innately afraid now, scared to lose everything. I can't change my quirk, so you'll often see me not engage a lady unless spoken to. Sometimes I increase the distance while in conversation. I'm just not looking for trouble, that's all. Is it difficult to live with? Yes. It makes you feel scared and it affects my feeling of worth. It affects my idea and my wanting to date, to experience dating, to experience a relationship. And it's hard. I put in a lot of work. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be, but it's still there. Do I think it will ever go away? Unfortunately, no. And that's hard because I've seen many females who I think might be cute, or I wouldn't go talk to them or ask them on a date, but just, oh, he's cute. And that same fear comes back. So, as a bio male, it's difficult to believe that women are scared of you, that they think you're something that you're not. Now, what I can tell you is you'll find people will call you things that maybe you're not, but it's not what people call you. It's what you answer to. And you have to know that from the inside, what you are and what not. And not everybody's going to see that, unfortunately. In a case like this, they might believe you to be something pretty nasty. But it's not what people call you. It's what you answer to. I took that with me to university. Believe it or not, I remained ever the optimist. Still willing to give anything another chance. A good person believing, scarred as I was. I figured new environment, new people, a mix of people, in the university, college environment, people from different places. Her name was Sally. Chemistry 101, freshman year. And at that time, I was obsessed, or I had a propensity towards Caucasian ladies, Caucasian women. My name for Caucasian women was white chocolate. That was my code word. I loved me some white chocolate. Gots to have it, I used to say. My mother was not a fan of my inclination, and I think I understand now the why more. But back then, it only fueled me to pursue, wait for it, white chocolate. Now, the other reason is also at that time, I had absolutely no desire to date nor be with an African American woman. And I'll get into reasons why in a separate podcast, but a good story to illustrate why is I was sitting with my cousin Emma, and she tells me, Jared, don't you bring no white girl up around here. You get yourself a nice black girl. And it took all I had to keep my cool, but I thought, why is it I have to bring a black woman around here? Nothing against black women. What I'm saying is, I felt it was a pigeonhole that just because I myself am African American, I have to then marry an African American woman. Or it implied to me that's all I could attract was another black woman. And why was it so wrong for an interracial relationship to be a possibility? Not saying I wouldn't or won't end up with an African American woman, but my thing was, at that time, I had a propensity towards Caucasian women. That was just my taste from the eye. And what would be so bad about an interracial relationship? I just didn't understand that. So I didn't want to be pigeonholed into marrying or dating within my same race. It just, there's a wider array of people out there. Anyway, so I met Sally. Petite. Not small, but petite. Petite, I think it involves a bit of more grace. It's an overarching feature as opposed to small, just being size. So she was petite. I loved petite. I also loved blonde or brown hair. Sally had neither, but a blonde or brown-haired Caucasian girl would drive me up a wall. And I loved petite. There came group work as to how we exchanged numbers, and I took it as an opportunity to build rapport. I believe rapport was the way to construct a better foundation, and in my mind, I was already starting better by having acquired her digits organically. I pondered how can I, or how should I, take having her number for group work, interacting with her in that capacity, and learn more about her, earn a date, asking her out to lunch. How does one do that as the guy, the male? Time passed. I would text her. I communicated as often as possible, or as I was comfortable with, knowing the chain of events just a year ago. Things like studying together, asking questions regarding a test, how she performed on a test, small things. My favorite and most natural thing to do was sending, "Good morning, have a great day," or "Hope you have a great weekend," or "You seem sad today. You feeling all right?" This one, in my opinion, mind you, I am 18 years old at this time, showed I'm paying attention without you asking me to. I swore women want the small attention to detail. I knew I'd never get that from a woman, but that didn't mean I couldn't or shouldn't offer it to you. Offer you my nature, then maybe the dynamic would change. Maybe I wasn't receiving that which I did not show. The old saying, closed mouth don't get fed. Which is why, in the present, I put myself out there for Yoda, aka Buttercup. I want to show that which I expect and yearn for in a relationship. I can't expect it if I don't show it. That's been my philosophy. Have a great track meet. How'd you do this weekend? Travel safe. She ran cross country. I looked up the schedule and sent her these texts at the appropriate time. If I happened to be seated next to her in class, I'd say something then. I thought the initiation would be received well, if not coveted by a nice young lady. She wore a nice outfit one day. Her hair was done. I sent a text saying, "Hey, just wanted to let you know you looked really good today. The outfit really complimented your figure. It was sexy." I even put, not to be derogatory, this is purely a compliment, afraid it be taken the wrong way. You know what I mean? She responded about 7 hours later. Thanks. Period. I thought I said something wrong, something out of line. I'd gone too heavy. Years later, my therapist laughed and reveals, that's not heavy. That's you taking notice of a woman. Heavy and disrespectful would have been, you look fine in this outfit. I can't wait to get that off of you. What you did can only be received by a mature woman, and it doesn't take 7 hours to respond, and one word at that. It's the small things that matter most and make the most difference, the most impact. That's been my outlook. The small things. I played it off. Oh, she must have been busy. I'll keep trying. It's okay. This is often attributed towards women regarding men who may be players or dogs. This is where I always felt I identified the opposite of what society dictated I should. Giving too much benefit of the doubt. Allowing people to treat me any kind of way. Look, 18-year-old me. You are worth it. You deserve better. You deserve the best for you. You deserve to be acknowledged. To be seen and remembered beyond every 7, 10, 12 hours just to respond to a text message. You have permission to be treated how you've always dreamed of. Let me talk to you right now, my rare breed of gentlemen, my ladies, anybody else. You are worth it. You deserve the best for you. I need you to say this to yourself in the mirror. I need you to look inside yourself right now. You deserve to be acknowledged. You deserve to be seen. 18-year-old me. Sally can't appreciate nor handle the treasure you are, Jared. Does not necessarily mean she's a bad person. It is simply clear that even if she got you, even if you were given to her, gifted to her, she wouldn't be able to handle you or know what to do with you. Let me explain something to y'all about attraction. We often mention that you will attract that which you put off, and we address it in a negative sense that, well, you're lonely because you're putting something bad. That may or may not be the case, but let me tell you something. If you're something like me, being 18 years old, I now look back and realize I was putting off something with substance. That's what I was looking for. You cannot attract someone who is not looking for substance, who is not looking for something depth, with significance, with intimacy, and that's what I was looking for. That's what I was putting off. And if no one else around me is looking for that, if no one else around you is looking for that, then you will be lonely. You will not attract someone because that's not what they are looking for. They can't breathe at that altitude. They can't handle what it is you've got going on. There is nothing wrong with you. You are just simply at an altitude that is above anybody else that's around you. Not to say that you are superior. You are just looking for something with some depth, and that's rare these days in time. Don't confuse and take on individuals who are respectfully where they are in life and mindset and characteristics and maturity. Do not let them make you or influence you nor me to think there is something wrong with us just because where they are in life is not a good fit for us. I'm getting off track. I'm getting hype right now, but this here is important. My ladies, how many of y'all are depressed and sad and just distraught over romantic relationships? Now, I'm asking you a real question. I want you to be honest with me. I want you to be honest with yourself. How many of y'all are dating and going after the same type of male, of person, of partner? The same goes for my gentlemen. How many of y'all are pursuing the same type of individual? Gentlemen and my ladies, you are highly intelligent. You cannot continue to tolerate the same thing. To do what I did with ladies like Sally and keep taking the same poison and expecting yourself to feel better. Allowing another individual to treat you like trash, like you aren't worth something, that kind of thing has to come from inside. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Am I talking to somebody right now? If you have been encountering and going after the same type of individual with the same type of mindset, with the same type of characteristics, that mindset obviously isn't able to support the expectations that you are looking for, and it's leaving you empty, it's leaving you depressed, it's leaving you in these arguments, it's leaving you feeling unsafe because that kind of mindset isn't able to sustain and support the kind of expectations that you have. Assuming they are positive and they are high, then you have the right to look for what it is you are looking for, but you are looking for it in the wrong place. And if they fool you once, that's okay, but you are highly intelligent, and if you have been given ample evidence that that kind of individual, whether male or female or otherwise, and that kind of mindset isn't fulfilling you to what you are looking for, at that point you don't have anybody to excuse but yourself. Don't tolerate and let somebody come up in here and treat you in your kind of way and have you always feeling depressed. I've been there. You don't need to go down that route. I survived. Not everybody will. And I will be damned if I let somebody who's rare like me, whether it's male or female or otherwise, let somebody come in here and treat you like trash and make you think that you aren't worth something, and you not give yourself permission to pursue better, to be treated and experience a relationship, whether friendship or romantic, that you've always dreamed of. Give yourself that permission. Don't give somebody excuses and put them on a pedestal. Steve Harvey talks about that a lot in his books. And I'm always, I feel some type of way when I hear, or men, or males. Ladies, I identify more with y'all than I do with anything society attributes to males. You just don't know the half of it. The same as I don't know the half of it for you. And that's always been a struggle for me. But that's okay. Sometimes I hear females talk about they want excitement, they don't want to be bored. Well, could it be that the very type of excitement can be whatever it is that you make it? You can find excitement in something that has substance, but don't ignore those partners, those individuals who actually are interested in the substance that you want. They can meet and support the expectations that you want. They want you to have the same expectations for them. Don't pass up those people because they don't look how you expect. I'm not talking about the physical. I'm talking about they don't have that bad boy or that bad girl vibe. They don't have that swagger you think they should have. There might be a different type of swagger that if you experience it, you will find that is a different type of excitement. It is actually fulfilling the excitement you were looking for, but you were looking for it in the wrong form, in the wrong place.
It's that looking for and taking the same poison and expecting yourself to feel better. That's not how it works. I would like for you to stop doing that because I have done it for years for you. And something needs to change. I need to get this one last thing out because I'm on fire right now, and then I'm going to get back to this. This might be a little lengthy of an episode here, but I heard somebody say, well, I don't need you. That is very important. Because in a relationship, you shouldn't need each other in the sense that you can't live without one another. In a negative sense, yes, they might fulfill something, but what I mean is you are two individuals who are fulfilled in your own right. And as what you should seek is someone else, you are working on yourself. God, though, this is another podcast, but I'm going to give you a little taste of this right now. You are working on yourself. They are working on themselves. You come together in romance. You can support each other in working on yourselves. That will continue to the day you die. And that is the part that is fulfilling. That is the part that maybe you, quote unquote, need them, but you would be able to survive and live on without one another. That starts getting into dictation and control. That's not what a relationship is. You don't look for someone who is perfect and quote-unquote has their shit together. You look for somebody who is working on themselves, who is willing to lay everything on the table, and they expect you to do the same, and you can support each other. You can support the real you. That's how you don't feel trapped in a relationship. All right, I'm going to stop because I'm getting hot up in here. I'm about to go someplace for this thing, but we're going to get back. I'm sorry about that. I get passionate sometimes. Phew. All right, back to Sally. She took a liking to another guy, Justin. During this, I asked her out. And the answer was, I'm not looking for anything right now. This became odd due to her and Justin. Well, one male spoke to me that a no could be you playing hard to get. She's weighing her options. You gotta get in there. Persist. The goal is to see what I will do to choose you, to chase you. Quote unquote, get out of my comfort zone if I want you. Much against my better judgment. Now, ladies, I cannot put words in your mouth, but I think that is a load of poppycock. I don't think playing hard to get is a real thing. I don't think it's fair to you. And I don't think it puts value in how you think, how you respond to things, and you as a woman. I don't think that's fair. And if it is a thing, me personally, if a woman is trying to get with me, I think playing hard to get is very immature. And I think it's a waste of time. Because I'm coming here for something serious. I want something real. I want something deep. And playing hard to get feels like a game. And I'm not interested in a game with you. I don't want to waste your time. And so playing hard to get never made sense to me. But since that's what I was told, I said, okay, well, maybe if I try something different, get out of my comfort zone and persist. But how can I persist respectfully? I created a birthday gift. It was a card with a handwritten note, and I posted 2 kitten pictures. I heard nothing. Well, maybe she's shy with me, I thought. With Justin, they walked together, sat together. In Chemistry 101, she actually left me to go sit with him. They made their class schedules together, texted often studied together. I could ask, and she'd say no, but she'd meet up with him to study. Eventually, she ended up on crutches. Opportunity! I texted her to discover it was muscular injury. Her roommate, Caroline, was in my Bible study group. She mentioned Sally is irritable when she can't run. I researched a way to help. I found calf sleeves on Amazon. I bought them in school colors, blue and garnet. Adidas, because that was team brand. I found a printing company to print PC Cross Country and her name on them. PC Cross Country on the outside, her name going down the inside of her left and up the right side of her right calf, so she could always read her name.
a little over $200. Hand delivered it before winter break to her dorm. She said thank you at the door. That's the last I heard from her about it. Walking campus as I did most weekends, I passed Justin's room the next semester, overheard him partying with Sally and another. She expressed feelings for him. He says, "I'm not good enough for you." That's when I gave up. Because she was interested in something, it just wasn't with me. It took years to forgive myself. It's why I speak with fire. I don't know why it felt like betrayal, but it did. And this was around my attempt to walk her to class. I'd asked her about her break. I didn't do much, but when Justin came up between us and asked the same question, she lit up. "Oh, me and my sister, we went camping, and then we went skiing, and then etc., etc., etc." When I heard and saw with my own eyes that difference, I stopped in my tracks, turned, and walked someplace else. That experience taught me the hard way what a woman will do when she's interested in a guy. They'll make time. Those two even ran together. Justin got into running and jogging. Hell, I was trying to do that. I share that to share this. Quality time illustrates an interest level. It illustrates who's at least trying to find opportunity to interact and engage more with me. Deflecting and putting it off means she's not interested. I am open to a new experience. It just hasn't happened yet for me. Why do I long for quality time? I harp on it because, think about it. Time is a high commodity. You cannot get back more time. You can always earn more money. You can buy more concert tickets. You can buy another car. But time is not material. Meaning, in order for you to invest time with me, with some kind of intent and regularity, is significant because you can't get time back. You will only invest time in something or with someone you care about. Are you in that arena? Am I in it? This illustrates that. If I'm told you forgot, that's a red flag more times than not. Because you don't forget things that matter. People who matter. Do not negate legit forgetting. Legit, it slipped your mind. But I've mostly encountered people who forgot, or a girl who forgot. It's because I'm not in that arena of things that matter to them to begin with. You'll have to discern for yourself on that one. Consider what sort of person they are. Perhaps have an honest conversation with them about it and see what happens. Because we never want to assume someone has ill intent. But that could be a red flag to look into. I just say it's better to have honest communication rather than assume negative intent. Now, the issue of distance. I said distance isn't as big an issue as we make it out to be. It is a challenge. A long distance relationship. I have a friend who is terrible. She has said she sucks with long distance relationships. And I will agree. She does. I'm one of her closest friends, and I will admit she sucks at long distance relationships. So that's an individual characteristic that is true. Distance is not a fence. Distance is spatial. It's not limited to geography. Busy schedules, for example, create distance. You're busy. Perhaps you work multiple jobs or you're in school. But quality time still exists. Distance is an opportunity for creativity. It's a matter of personally putting in the effort. Busy schedule isn't necessarily the problem. I'll begin the next episode with examples of creativity for you, since I'm a creator. How can you breach distance, such as busy schedule? Be careful in allowing it to be their expression of quality time for you, though. Don't be blind to that. Maybe don't be so rigid in how your other ought express it to you. That is an honest conversation to have, but allow that safe freedom to. It's also where I observe quality time if you want to see me, the real me. We are each so unique with so many faucets to us. You can't possibly see me in one setting and have a fair sense of me. Alright, so some of you know me by now. You know what time it is. It's time for comedic relief, baby. Not really comedic relief, but it's a good story. Those of you who have listened to the podcast up until now know there is a special lady on the job I've been crushing on for the past 2 years that I have been working there. So you know what her real name is. But I have an update for you. I expressed my interest and I asked her out on a date. I'll tell you how it went. She told me that she's not interested in dating but friendship, sure. But I still want to tell you about it, how it went. How I placed myself on her radar to see what would happen. At least I tried. She has no idea that she's the first girl I've asked out in 2 years. I don't ask women out that often. Now, here's something that's really powerful. I have a couple of nicknames for her, so those of you that don't know who she is, I call her, one of my nicknames is Buttercup, because I think if she were a Powerpuff Girl, she would be most comparable to Buttercup. Arguably Bubbles, but I think Buttercup is a better comparison. My latest addition to nicknames for her is Yoda. So, Yoda, Buttercup, I expressed interest in her, you guys. So, let's go ahead and get into some more relief. And so what I did, I found out that I can draw recently. And so I took all the places that she has said that she worked, and I drew those, a variety of mediums. She loves to wear Doc Marten boots. And so I drew a pair of Doc Marten boots in graphite. And I drew the places where she works and Starbucks where we've met. And technically speaking, I've been crushing on her for the 2 years that I've been at Starbucks. I think if I put on my other hat of the many faucets of Jared, she's hot. Like, she's hot. She's smoking. And it's funny because she mentioned one day she was having a conversation. I overheard her and she said something like, well, I don't have butt. It's flat. And I thought to myself, there's no way that you're looking at... Now, yes, I've been checking her out, right? But there's no way that you're looking at the same person that I'm looking at. I can't speak for other suitors. And I don't know what you would prefer to see in yourself, but for me, she's hot. Straight smoking. And you're in work clothes. How are you smoking in work clothes? How? I don't understand. But I took all these things and I drew them and I put them in this custom frame. And there's a place called Donovan's Custom Framing in Somerville. And so I took it to them and got it custom framed. That cost $300, just about, to get it framed. And I gave it to her for her birthday, but her birthday is really close to Christmas, and so I made it a combinatory gift. And I just do that. I wanted to do something special for her for whatever reason. I just did. I wanted to. But I've also interested. Well, that interest came on the back end of listening to her express some of her characteristics. And some of those was she calls herself petty. And I thought about that. I said, well, that might be a challenge, right? Dealing with pettiness is kind of a challenge because I don't consider myself, generally speaking, to be trivial. Sometimes I'm just so busy with the creative stuff, I just find trivial stuff to be, well, trivial. But hearing this stuff, and I come to you and ask you on a date, don't you already think I know or have heard you mention pettiness or some other things that to some people might be good qualities, to others might not be so good? Don't you think I've already considered that? And yet I've still come and expressed this amount for you. That should tell you something. Now, she wouldn't know this information. But I say that to say this. I'm looking at the entirety of your individual. And if I'm going to approach you in this way, then I need to be ready to learn the entirety of your individual, because you don't need to be trapped if you're going on a date with me or if you're in a friendship with me that you can't be you. Because I'm coming into this, I want something real, which means I have to be ready to learn and let you express yourself, and I want that in return. My expectations are high. So it is expected that you would want me to share myself with you, because I want to be seen for me, and I want to be myself, let the wall down with you. And so I want you to do the same with me. All of that goes into my mind every so often when I make my move, so to speak, on a woman. When I'm asking for that quality time. It's that space to legit get to know you. It's because this is probably some of the best relationship advice I can ever give you is don't start off like you can't keep up. A lady named Crystal told me that comes into to Starbucks, and one of the biggest things was she has a temper. And one day her temper was going to fly off, and she thought with her husband, who she just met at the time, that she was going to let it go. But she thought about the old woman who gave her that advice, and she let it rip, and she's been letting it rip for 20 plus years since. Her temper's gotten better, but she still has been letting it rip. They're married, happily married. All right. Now, our comedic relief with Yoda, or about Yoda and myself. If we're going to entertain the societal stuff for a moment, Steve Harvey said that he likes a woman who, being obsessed with booty, he wants when she walks, that when she rocks from one side to the next, something else got to keep moving. If we're talking about materialistic things like that in the body, I personally am not attracted to jiggle in that sense. I don't find it unattractive, but I don't see why so many guys are just obsessed with it. I just don't. And so in the case where I was thinking about Yoda, and I said, she doesn't think that she has butt. But for me, it's pretty fine. I think she literally is. She's very gorgeous. She's a very beautiful girl and a very beautiful young lady. And I will never, ever take that away from a girl. I will never take that away from you. But she made a remark at another time that she has stomach. She's fat. And in my mind, I thought, well, one, I don't think you're fat, but what's wrong with some stomach? Remember when I told you all about the flat stomach ideal for a woman? What's wrong with some stomach? You're still gorgeous. You're gorgeous with a stomach. I have a stomach too. What's wrong with that? She is, now this gets into what I'm actually really attracted to, or what led up to me, making my move, and just, at least I tried. That one, she herself is one who works a lot, and that was very attractive to me, the hard work ethic, because when I lost the apartment and surrendered it to come back home, one of the things that would have made the difference was if my body could have kept up with working as she works, I probably would have been able to barely keep up with it. And so that was a bit attractive, something that I don't have that I could learn, that was new. But she's also built like a truck. She's not in a bad way. She's just solid. And I accidentally rammed into her one day on the bar, and I thought I was fine, but my My innards of my abdomen were bruised for a couple days. She is solid. Built just like an athlete, like a truck. And I look at her and I think about this. Bear with me, okay? Come on. Like your center of gravity is just awesome. How's that sexy? That's me. That's me. I'm like, your center of gravity looks flippin' awesome. That's me. For her. She also wears, I wrote an article where I talk about anyone who can pull off bell bottoms. I find that very attractive. Well, she has very, very long legs. Very long legs. They're also very fit, kind of reminiscent of cross-country girls. But she can pull off not only bell bottoms, the longer, bigger bell bottoms because she has the length for it, but she can also pull off the boots with regular jeans and socks that come, the high socks, wearing them outside of the jeans. Now, I don't know how the hell she pulls this off, but those are two of my most coveted styles for someone to be able to pull off. And she's the first female I've ever seen, especially African American, to pull that off. And so I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, yeah, you have the legs to pull off bell bottoms. You have long legs, don't you? Yeah, you do. I'm really weird. I'm really weird. Very rare for me to look at breast or booty. There's other things like the essence of a girl. Kind of just, and these are the things about her that damn near drive me up a wall every damn day. The other thing is she wears super large glasses. She has rounds and squares. The majority of times she wears squares. I think a lot of guys find that nerdy, but for me, I look at them and I say, I like your glasses. I like your glasses. They bring out your eyes. I like them. I like them a lot. That's me. And the combination of all that damn near drives me up a wall every goddamn day. Working up in that place of that. So I'm strange. The things that attract me to a woman are strange. But those are the, I guess, physical attributes about her that sort of I find attractive. Checking her out, you know. God, I hope she's not listening to this at all. But if we're gonna talk about booty or butt, as I said, she thinks she's fat or has a stomach, which nothing wrong with that. I think she's gorgeous, and she doesn't think she has butt. I would disagree, but that's just me. I think if she were to ask me, hey, look at behind the silhouette, do you think I have butt? I can neither confirm nor deny if I have checked her out in that way. But theoretically, if the answer were yes, my answer would be yes, right? But she's just overall very gorgeous. But she also just has a rock in her gait. And that in combination with her center of gravity is just fine. She's fine. She's hot. Smoking. It's just, yeah, dang. It's craziness. But that's your comedic relief for what I look in. Maybe I have a leg fetish. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I have a big glasses fetish too. I don't know. But I think there's a lot of things that maybe she herself doesn't think are attractive. And they're the exact things that I don't see an issue with. I think you're gorgeous, right? And willing to expunge upon that, knowing the good and the bad, right? Or maybe the not so good. It is the month of February, so, sorry, it's not the month of February. We are approaching the month of February. So I'm going to try and do weekly just because I have a lot to say about dating and Valentine's Day and all these things. So we're going to try and keep this going. I might talk about quality conversation next. Don't really know, but I'm going to keep this trend going. Flirtatious seemed to be really popular, so I'll see how this video does. This podcast does, especially with it being a far longer, in-depth podcast than I have ever done so far. Do let me know what you like about it in the comments, and if you want me to talk about something, or you want me to ask me a question, or God forbid someone has a relationship question that they think I'm a guru for and I can answer for you, sure, why not? So take it easy, my ladies and gents, and I'll see you next time, okay? Boop. Also, the songs that I have mentioned here, I will post them in the comments or the about of this episode if I'm able to. I'm pretty sure there's a way that I can do that. So if you want to listen to them for effect, they will be there where you can listen to them. If not, I'll find some other way to post them for you. But have a listen to them. See if you like them. All right. Talk to you soon, ladies and gents. Bye.